Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another preview and predictions video. The team that we're going to be taking an in-depth look at today is our 2024 Clemson Tigers football team. We're going to do a complete preview of their roster, see which pieces they lost from last year's squad, what pieces they're bringing into this year's squad, but also look over their entire 2024 football schedule, trying to see which games we think they're going to win, lose, and what we predict their final record will be for the 2024 football season. Go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I will respond. So our 2024 Clemson Tigers. Vegas has them predicted at coming in at 9.5 wins. So between 9 and 10 wins. That's a pretty strong season, but obviously there's been a lot of news surrounding Clemson. There's been a lot of pressure right now on Clemson due to the high expectations. That's a good thing to have. They've won national championships in the last decade. Dabo, great coach, winning coach. He's brought the championships to Clemson. But with that has come some pretty high expectations and fans wondering why they haven't been able to compete for the last couple of seasons. But they did finish last season on a high note. They finished with 5 straight wins to end the year. They finished with a top 10 defense. So with those expectations, they still have some high expectations coming in for next season. This team is built to compete right now. So they are more than capable of living up to the expectations. Dabo, he has a talented coaching staff, a very talented team, but a lot of people knock him for the lack of bringing in transfer portal players. He did not bring in one transfer portal player this offseason. The only other team to do that was the Army football team. A lot of people don't know if he's capable of coaching in the modern era of college football. But let's just slow down. Let's see what Dabo does this year. Can Dabo silence his critics with their performance in the 2024 football season? They get things kicked off. Their very first game is going to be versus Georgia. That's just going to show us how far Clemson has come, whether they're there or whether they still have some more room to go, because they're going to be challenged by the best. I still expect their defense to be a top 10 defense in the country this season. It's not the defense that anyone's worried about. It's the offense that everyone has questions about. Just how comfortable will the quarterback, Cade Klubnik, be in offensive coordinator Garrett Riley's system? Last year, they showed some flashes, but there was a lot of questions left over at the end of the season. 19 touchdowns, 9 picks. That's not good enough for 5-star quarterback Cade Klubnik. He has to play better. So how far Clemson goes really hinges on just how many steps forward their offense can take. The offensive coordinator, Riley, he needs to get it going with his air raid system. He showed a lot of promise at TCU. He has to deliver on that promise with Clemson. They need a top 30 offense this season. The running back, Maffa, he's back. They have the tight end, Brenningstole, and they have a lot of new freshmen at the wide receiver position. They have to find a wide receiver number 1. The defensive coordinator, Wes Goodwin, picked right up where Brent Venables left off. Obviously, top 10 defense. They were loaded. Carter, Mickens, they're off to the NFL, but Clemson still has Woods, Parker, Brown, so there's guys that they can rely on. As we mentioned, the defense, we know what we're getting with that. A top 10 defense, but how far will the offense carry them? Let's take a look at their 2024 schedule. So Clemson, like we mentioned, gets things kicked off the very first game, Saturday, August 31st versus Georgia, who is probably going to be number 1 or 2 nationally in the AP poll week 1. This is going to be a tough test right out of the gate. Neutral site, Georgia, you have Beck at quarterback. You're going to have a top 10 defense on the other side, a top 10 offense. Actually, Georgia had a top 5 defense, top 5 offense last year. So you're playing the best on both sides of the football. Clemson's defense, they're not going to be run up and down the field. They're going to get after the quarterback. They're going to get pressure on the quarterback. Look for them to keep this game close. But I don't think their offense is going to be ready to go just yet with Georgia. They might be able to compete first half, but I think by the third or fourth quarter, Georgia starts to pull away. They are an elite program. They're going to win this one 28-17, well, let's say 30-20, and Clemson starts out 0-1. Then Saturday, September 7th versus Appalachian State. Look for them to rebound here. They're going to be angry. Their defense is going to want to just sack the quarterback 10 times. The offense is really going to go vertical. They're going to push the limit this game. They're going to win this one 48-10, and they're 1-1. Then after that, Saturday, September 21st versus NC State. Do not underestimate NC State. They're going to have a top 25 team. They always have a competitive defense. Their offense is going to be better this year than they've been in previous seasons. They run the ball well. They're going to be a top 25 team. But I have Clemson continuing to roll, going, and they're beating NC State at home. Look for them to win this one 35-17, and they're 2-1. Then after that, Saturday, September 28th versus Stanford. This is a new team to the ACC. Clemson's going to welcome them in by beating the brakes off of them. They're going to win this one 44-10, and they're 3-1. Saturday, October 5th at Florida State, going on the road to Florida State. Clemson should have beat them last season, but they lost that kick. A loss is a loss, but Florida State's entire team has gone off to the NFL. They're bringing in DJU at the quarterback position. I have Clemson getting revenge this game, going on the road to Tallahassee, beating them. They're on a mission this year to get back to the ACC championship. I have Clemson beating Florida State in a lower scoring game, 27-24, and they're 4-1. After that, Saturday, October 12th at Wake Forest. Massive talent gap here. They don't have Sam Hartman. They don't have a good offense. They don't have a good defense. Clemson's going to beat them 48-13, and they're 5-1. This Saturday, October 19th versus Virginia. Virginia also massive talent gap here. They cannot compete with Clemson in the trenches. Clemson's going to roll right through them 40-14, 6-1. Saturday, November 2nd versus Louisville. Louisville's a team that can't compete with you. They've been working the portal well. They've been producing a lot of good players. They were obviously a very good team last season, went to the ACC championship, but I don't think they're built depth-wise to compete with Clemson. This is a game that you got to watch because it could be a potential upset, but I'm going to go with Clemson as of right now, continuing to roll, beating Louisville 33-21, and Clemson's, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-1, 7 straight wins so far. Then Saturday, November 9th, I have the upset looming here. You're going to Blacksburg at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech is a borderline top 25 team this season. They played really well last season. They're probably going to be better this season. They run the ball really well. That can maybe come back to bite you because Clemson's going to be a hard team to run on because their D-line is going to be so good. But I think they're going to be due for a loss at some point just because they're going to be somewhat beat up by this point. They've been running up the scores. They've been beating teams. So sometimes you're just naturally due for a little bit of a challenge from a team that you weren't expecting it from. I have Virginia Tech getting the upset win here, 28-24, and they're 7-2. But don't panic. And then Saturday, November 16th at Pittsburgh. Pitt is sometimes a team that's pretty competitive. They're a defensively focused team, run-heavy team. I have Clemson, though, just going right through them. They're going to rebound, get a win here, 38-14, and they're 8-2. Then Saturday, November 23rd versus the Citadel. Obviously, that's going to be a beatdown. Let's put it at a 55-6 game, and Clemson's 9-2. Final game of the season, Saturday, November 30th versus South Carolina. Obviously, Beamer, he might even be fired at this point. This is not a very talented team, but the SEC is really competitive. Rattler's gone. They have no leader as of right now. I have Clemson finishing the season on a high note, beating South Carolina 45-17. Clemson finishes the 2024 season 10-2. So Vegas has them at 9.5. I have them going 10-2, so I'm going with the over there. I have Clemson making it to the ACC championship and potentially competing for that playoff spot, winning the ACC championship, which would get them the bye week, get them into the playoff. Even if they lose at 10-2 regular season, coming out of the ACC, you still could potentially make the final 12 for the playoffs. Strong season. Dabo quiets some of the haters, but there's obviously still a couple things to work on. That's our breakdown of our 2024 Clemson Tigers. Go ahead, hit that like button and subscribe. If you have any comments, drop them below and I will respond. Thanks.